discover what you have to prove. Stay tuned. This is Damon Cart with NLP Gym. What do you have to prove? Before I get into this, if you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. You might be thinking, I don't have anything to prove. And to that, I would say that's bullshit. And I would also say, for your sake, I hope that's not true. I hope you do have something to prove. What you may be thinking is, I don't need to prove myself. And to that, I would say, that's a great thing. I think a lot of people feel like they do have to prove themselves. Let's start with that. Proving yourself. The problem with that, and if you're trying to do this, by the way, stop it right now, because it's impossible. It's impossible to prove yourself. Why? Because it's impossible to prove what you undeniably know, what is absolutely self-evident. In order to prove yourself, and what I mean by that is to prove the existence of you, you would have to first pretend like you don't exist. So trying to prove yourself, as in trying to prove your existence, is only going to create pain and suffering. And like I said, it's impossible, so you'll never accomplish it. So just stop that right now. I wasted years of my life, probably more than half of my life, trying to prove myself, and in a sense, prove my existence. It's silly, it's crazy, just stop it right now. Now, the other thing you might be confusing when you think of proving yourself, you may be thinking of proving your self-worth. Now, this is probably, this is where I know I got confused. Proving my self-worth versus proving myself, I confused the two. So you can separate those two right now. So there's proving yourself, trying to prove your existence. We know that's true, so you don't need to prove that. Then there's proving your self-worth, proving you're valuable, proving you're deserving, proving that you deserve to receive love, to eat, to live, to exist, to have shelter, that sort of thing. Now, this is a common problem for people, and again, this is something I struggled with for years. I've done videos on it, I've written about it. I'm not going to delve too much into it here, but just to give you an understanding of what I'm talking about, wondering or trying to work toward or trying to prove that you deserve love, that you deserve affection, that you deserve just the normal things like to eat. Think about it this way. When you see a baby who's just born, would you look at that baby and think, oh, the baby needs to prove itself. The baby needs to prove that it deserves to be loved, that it deserves to be fed. No, that's absolutely ridiculous. You would naturally just give a baby food, caring, love, attention, all those things. You don't wait for the baby to just prove or that it deserves all of these things. And if you're not a parent and you're not into kids, think about it this way. Do you ask the same of your pets? Would you buy a kitten or a puppy and then wait for the puppy or the kitten to prove itself, to earn you feeding it, earn you giving it affection, playing with it? No, so this is ridiculous. So if you feel like you have to prove yourself for the most basic, simple things in life, again, stop this, because you are just going to create a lot of pain and suffering in your life. Now, how does this even happen? A lot of people, they have this going on naturally, it seems. Well, a lot of times it comes from childhood. It comes from someone communicating to you in a very limited way, and limitation on their end, not on your end. When you were a very young child, they communicated to you in a way that implied that you needed to deserve their love. You needed to somehow earn the basics. You had to earn their love, their trust, their affection. This happens a lot. I don't think parents do it on purpose, but it happens. and we pick up this idea that we must somehow earn or deserve love before receiving it. So again, just realize it's not true. You deserve these things implicitly, and again, to try to prove that you do, to try to work towards proving it, you never can truly prove it, because it's not true that you don't deserve it. So again, let this go. You might still be saying, okay, well, I have nothing to prove. Think about this. Think about it if scientists started saying, I have nothing left to prove. If a scientist said that, what would that scientist be effectively doing? The scientist would then be eliminating his or her profession, wiping it out. Because that's a scientist's job, is to prove or disprove theories. And they do that by study, by hypothesizing, by experimenting, by creating theories and testing, and then experimenting some more and testing some more. This is really, really important, because you don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to prove your worthiness, but you have a lot to prove. Those ideas in the back of your head, those lingering ideas, those things that you're attracted to, those challenges that you're not sure you're up for, the things that scare you, but you're attracted to them anyway, the things that you failed at over and over, but you keep coming back to, these are your theories, and they're begging you to prove them. That's why they stay there. That's why they linger in your mind. That's why you keep coming back to them. So that's your theories you need to prove. Become a scientist in your own life. Experiment, study, hypothesize about what's possible, about what you can do, about the challenges that you're interested in. Theorize about them, plan them, experiment, test. And one of the best things that can happen to you is that your theories fall apart when you go to test them. Because a good scientist doesn't attach themselves to the outcome of an experiment or when they test their theory. If their theory proves wrong, they just experiment some more, they make another hypothesis, they test, they create more theories, they keep going. This is how we innovate. This is how scientists innovate. This is how science evolves. This is how we've gotten all the great, wonderful technology that we have. Do the same in your own life. Don't become attached to the outcomes. Don't become attached to your theories. Test them. And then, if they fall apart, well, now you've learned something. Now you've learned something that's not true. And learning something that's true, learning what's not true, is just as important. And sometimes your theories will be right, and you'll feel good about that, and things will work out in a way that you want them to. But if that always happened that way, and you're right all the time, that's not interesting, because you're not growing. So if you've got that book that you've been wanting to write, you're not sure if you can do it, and it kind of scares you, go for it. That's your theory. The theory is you can write a book, but you're not sure you can do it until you test that theory. What if you want to lose 40 pounds? What if you want to go get your PhD? What if you want to make 6 figures? These are all theories. These are all possibilities. Study, experiment, hypothesize, theorize, and then start testing. Start testing if you can do it or not. And believe me, when you fail at some of these things, it'll be wonderful, because you won't be attached to it. It won't be about you. It won't be about your worthiness. It will simply be about whether or not your theory was correct or it wasn't correct. And like I said, that teaches you everything you need to know. And then you just keep moving forward with this new knowledge, this new understanding. Knowing has nothing to do with your self-worth. It has nothing to do with whether or not you should or should not exist, which is absolutely ridiculous. You exist. And you're deserving of the basics that every human is deserving of. And now you can move forward actualizing your potential using science. So become a scientist in your own life and test those possibilities and challenge yourself. Check out my website, nlp-gym.com. Follow me on Facebook for real-time updates on upcoming workshops and talks that I either give or that I host for other teachers and trainers. If you like this video, please click like right down here. Please leave a comment or even a question. I will follow up with you.